Hi, John Schwab here from Curtain Call, and welcome to episode 60 of the Curtain Call Theater Podcast, the podcast that brings you backstage as close as you possibly can be, often while the shows are actually happening, to meet the people that make theater happen. If you are a theater professional, or you know any, make sure you or they sign up with the code CCFREE and claim a Curtain Call profile today, which is free. That's just go to curtaincallonline.com, sign up and enter the code CCFREE, all caps, no spaces. Join today and start connecting to the theater industry. And now for this week's podcast. Reece Shearsmith celebrated a birthday this past weekend, and I thought we'd help him celebrate by bringing you a little chat we had with him when he was appearing in Hangmen at the Royal Court. Reece played the character of Sid, the stammering ex-assistant to David Morrissey's ex-hangman Harry, both of whom are coming to terms with the abolition of capital punishment in Britain. It was a fantastic performance by Reece, and the entire Hangman company, in fact, garnering critical praise across the board, which then led to a West End transfer to the Wyndham's Theatre. Unfortunately, Reece couldn't make that transfer to the West End, with Andy Nyman ably stepping into his shoes. Hi, Andy. Perhaps we'll get to speak to Andy about his experience in an upcoming podcast. Let's see what happens. In any case, for those of you who didn't get to see Reece in the role, Reece puts across his reflections on the character and his first time at the Royal Court. Have a listen.
Yes, my name is Reece Shearsmith, and I play the character of Sid Armfield, who is the assistant hangman to Harry Wade, played by David Morrissey.
Yeah. And the script lends itself to many layers of both comedy and horrible situations.
Yeah.
And I found, are you aware that the audience are, it's quite, yesterday, this may be just from yesterday, but they were quite a vocal audience when it comes to reactions. They gasped in certain places.
Yeah.
And
we have had that, yeah. We've had some. It's lovely when you really feel that we are reeling them in as far as the storytelling is concerned. 'Cause it's such a great, you are leaning into this story, wondering where is it going, and then there are some great kind of points where it all turns on its head, or there's a revelation, and we have heard audible gasps. But that's lovely because it means they're listening and they're into it. They're feeling like they're sat in their front room and they can make that noise, and that you do cherish hearing that, because you think, great, we've got their claws into there, and they're enjoying the story, and they can't wait to see what happens next. Especially when they return for the second part, where everything is kind of turned on its head, and it's like, oh my gosh, he knows him. How is that's lovely to feel that we've tricked them.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah, it's lovely to play that.
And it's it is. There are moments of great stillness, as well as your character is quite physically, the physical comedy that comes out of it, but you also have moments of stillness when you see that you're trying to squirm.
Yes, of course, yeah. There's a lot of terrible tension as the play ratchets up toward the end. Yeah. And there is, I'm kind of standing for most of the second half. It was shaking with terror, not wanting to be in the position I'm in. Yeah. And so I do feel kind of quite drained at the end of it. It looks like I'm just stood in a room, but if people could see my feet, I'm kind of like a cat. I feel like I'm completely caught in this terrible web of my own doing.
Yeah.
And I hope that comes across with everyone doing that. That the tension in the room is horrible, and you just know something dreadful's going to happen. It's the only way out for it to break. So it's lovely to kind of ratchet up that slow noose around literally the audience's story.
And how easy was it for you to kind of take this? It's Mark McDonagh's got a great track record of just of storytelling that takes that to kind of pitch you from side. There's always something that's going to come, and when it comes, you're not expecting.
Yeah, well, that's really appealing to me. I've always really enjoyed that kind of storytelling. It's something that kind of just, you can't rest on your laurels. You've got to be on your toes, and you've got to be leaning into it to get the story. And you can't have him wash over you. You've got to be alert, and that's great, because not many things are not like that. Everyone is always spoon-fed everything,
Yeah.
and also ahead of it. And
Yeah.
I think you can't be with him, and it's lovely to be ahead of the audience, and they're catching up. And so you feel very empowered by that. It's enjoyable.
It's one of the moments yesterday, in the show, when about 3 minutes from the end of Act 1, where you suddenly click that, oh shit, and the audience, 20 seconds before that, laughing their butts off
Yes.
at cock jokes and
Yeah.
things, and then that moment, like,
yes,
that you
this
came
man.
this man, and you just, the woman next to you went,
Oh, good,
no.
great, yeah. That's great.
Lastly, have you played the World Cup?
No, never. But my first time, so
Oh, cool.
it's been really...
Well, how does it differ for you, and how have you found it coming into this space?
Well, it's been lovely to be in something that we felt from the start was a good piece of work. So we were itching to present it to the world. There was responsibility to it as well, to Martin, I think. We wanted to, kind of deliver his play. And I was slightly nervous that he hadn't done one for 10 years, and how would it be perceived, rightly or wrongly. I thought perhaps the knives might be out for him just because he hasn't done anything, and people would come with their arms crossed, go on then, do it again. And happily it's had a great response, so we're delighted with it. And the theatre is a gorgeous place to play. It's so intimate, there's no pushing. It feels like you can do a very small performance. It doesn't feel, I've done Drury Lane where you're declaiming, and it's not really the same as performing here, certainly. So it's lovely because it's stage, but it feels very small, and that's lovely because you can be truthful, and you're always striving for that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, listen, thank you so much for
That's
talking
all.
to me. I really appreciate it. Reece Shearsmith on his experience as Sid the Hangman's assistant. Now, before we wrap up, if you are a theater professional and you want to join the network built by theater professionals for theater professionals, a network that is growing every day, then head on over to curtaincallonline.com and sign up for a free Curtain Call Pro profile with the code CCFREE. Again, that's CC FREE, all caps, no spaces. You can follow us on all the socials, that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Curtain Call, all lowercase. We'd love to hear from you if you have any suggestions or feedback for the podcast. Just get in touch with us via any of the social media platforms I just mentioned, or write to me personally at john@curtaincallonline.com, and that's John with an H. It just leaves me now to thank Reece Shearsmith and the entire company of Hangmen. We had a great experience during our visit, and, many happy returns, Mr. Shearsmith. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Curtain Call Theater Podcast, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.